Hello there. In this video I'm going to be talking about the IB English A Individual Oral Commentary, or the IOC as it's known, for the Language and Literature course, also the Literature course for IB. The IOC can be one of the most terrifying, nerve-wracking experiences of doing IB. It's up there with the TOK presentation. But this video really aims to show you that if you are prepared and you know what you're doing and you really know your stuff, it actually can be quite a rewarding part of the course and a good assessment to do. So this video is fairly brief. It just introduces the IOC, gives you the nuts and bolts of what to expect and what to study, and then in subsequent videos I'll go through specific techniques, how to structure your IOC, what to talk about to get the best grades possible. So to begin with, what is the IOC? What's it worth? It's worth up to 15% of your final grade. It's one of 2 oral assessments that you'll take for English A. In terms of what you study, if you're doing standard level, then you will do 2 texts, and if you're doing higher level, you'll do 3 texts. A text can be a novel or a play, or it can be a collection of poems, usually 15 poems by the same poet. And then in terms of how the actual exam takes place, this is what you get. On the day of the test, you go into a room and choose an envelope completely at random. You don't know what's inside this envelope. It's a bit of a lucky dip. When you open the envelope, you'll have an extract from one of those texts that you studied. So it could be a whole poem or one complete poem, or it could be a page from a novel or a part of a play. You then have 20 minutes to prepare a presentation on that particular extract and its links to the overall text. At the bottom of the extract you also get 2 guiding questions, as they're known. They're there to help you. You don't have to answer them specifically, but they might give you obviously some kind of guidance. That's why they're called guiding questions. You have 20 minutes from the time you open the envelope to prepare your presentation, so you can annotate, colour up, do what you like with the extract. The only rules in this really are that you can't bring pre-prepared notes or any other notes into the exam as such. You also can't write a speech and just read that out, not that you would have time in 20 minutes to really do that very well. After the 20 minutes you go and see the examiner, and you talk for about 10 minutes about the extract that you have. And then there's about 5 minutes of questions and answers with the examiner. All that's recorded and sent to IB for moderation. Here's an example of some of the texts that we study. For higher level, we'd have Philip Larkin, poems by Philip Larkin, Twelfth Night by Shakespeare, and The Great Gatsby. You can see there, if you're standard level, we don't do The Great Gatsby. These change every year, by the way, so if you are one of my students, don't assume this is actually what we're going to study when you're with me. So like I say, you then go and see your teacher. No one else is in the room, it's just you and a recorder and the teacher. You talk for 10 minutes, and then there's about 5 minutes of questions. One important thing to remember is that you're not expected to say absolutely everything you know about the entire text. It's not a carpet bombing type of assessment where you throw everything you can at the examiner. You get an extract and you're expected to focus mainly on the passage in front of you. You might be able to show links to wider themes or issues, and that's fine, that's cool. You can put it in context and tell us where it appears in the extract in the text, that's fine. But the majority of your commentary should be based on that particular passage. So some of the key skills you're looking at are really good close reading skills. Now, in terms of assessment, how those 30 points, or how that 15% is made up, it's broken up into 30 points, or 30 marks. The first 2, criterion A and B, are the big ones, where you can score really heavily. They're both out of 10, and the last 2 are out of 5. So to go through this very quickly, criterion A is the knowledge and understanding of the text or the extract. So this is a broad understanding of what is taking place, why it's important, what sort of messages or themes are discussed, that kind of broader picture. Criterion B is understanding the use of literary features. So this is where your close reading skills come in. You find things, you understand the connotations of them, and then you use that as a springboard to talk about perhaps wider features of the text. Criterion C is your organization of your presentation. So if you're kind of like, yeah, like, okay, like this all the way through your presentation, this score is going to come down quite significantly. You can boost your score by signposting what you're saying, pausing, just basically presenting it clearly and calmly. And then criterion D is your use of language. If you can use technical terms, that's great, but in general it's just fluency, the appropriate register, like a fairly formal register because it's a presentation, that kind of thing you can score well for. Okay, so that's a brief summary of the IOC. In the next videos I'll talk more specifically about how to go about approaching one of these.